everyone, and welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking about Blueprint for Love by Penny Zeller. So, this one, it's a contemporary romance, it's a rom-com, and it fits within the Christian fiction category. And it's also book three in Penny's Small Town Shenanigans series. So, why did I want to read this one? Well, I've pre-ordered all the books in this series and they're all in my TBR. And this is actually the one that I'm reading first. And I was sort of tossing whether to go back to book one and read in order. But then I saw the name of the main character in this book is my mum's name. And I thought, yes, I'm definitely going to read this one first and remember my late mum. So that's why I'm starting with book three. And they are standalone stories and they're romances that you can read in any order. So there's no spoilers by jumping in at book three like I am. And so the others I will get back to when I have a chance. And I love Penny's books. She writes historical romance, she writes romantic suspense. They're all auto buys as far as I'm concerned, because I've never been disappointed by any of the books I've read by her. And you can look up book recommendations for Love in the Headlines, which I have at my blog, at my website at narelleatkins.com. And that's also another fun rom-com with animals in it, like this one. And I've also recorded episode 41 on Penny's romantic suspense novel, Unexpected Danger. And you can look up episode 41 in the playlist at your favorite podcasting app or at YouTube. Now, let's talk about the book. Blueprint for Love by Penny Zeller is set in a small town in the mountains, and I think we're in the Rocky Mountains, so sort of around the Colorado region. So this one has a number of romance tropes in it. So it's a rom-com, which is so fun. We have the friends to more romance trope, which I just loved. We've got our characters from different worlds. So our leading lady is from Florida, and she's been in the city in Fort Lauderdale. And then we have our hero who's born and raised in the country town, going back many generations. We've got forced proximity in this one because they end up working together on projects. And we have rivalry at work, which is a lot of fun. I'll get to that in a minute. And we've got a delightful and charming small town that's got all those lovely small town vibes that we all like. We have the most adorable animals in this book as well. It's very, very fun. And we've got quirky side characters, and we have a group of seniors who are hilarious. And this is where we get a few cozy mystery vibes in the story because they're amateur sleuths and private investigators who stick their noses in all sorts of interesting things. And we also have some family drama in the story too. So I'm going to start by sharing the first lines. I'm going to talk about the first two lines to give a bit more context. So here we go. It could have been worse. It could have happened in rush hour traffic. So this is from chapter one, and we're introduced to Jeanette, and she's on Main Street in our small town called Cloverdale Falls. And I'll introduce you to Jeanette, then we'll go back to what's happening in the first chapter. So she's in her 20s. She's from Fort Lauderdale in Florida, and she's an interior designer and works for a big fancy design firm in the city. So at the start of the story, she's in a rental car and she's broken down in the main street of town. She's got Francesca with her, who's her absolute adorable black Dachshund puppy. She's just adorable. And Jeanette has family in town. So if we go back to the earlier books in the series, her brother is the hero in one book and her cousin is the hero in another book. So one of the reasons she's in town is she's kind of on vacation and catching up with family, but she's kind of working there as well. And she's staying at the local B&B, and she's also going to be working doing some reno interior design work there as well. So that's where we start with Jeanette. So I'm going to introduce you to Cameron next. So he's our hero, and he's a similar age to Jeanette, and he's what we'd call in Australia a tradie. So he's a construction worker who does building renos, and he's been working for the family business that his father runs. And at the start of the story, he's super busy with work because his dad's offline. His dad's had some health issues and had heart surgery and isn't back at work yet. There's a few things going on there, and he's also dealing with his mum who's struggling with caring for his dad, who he's having a few struggles recovering from the heart surgery. As I said, there's some things that go with that. And so the meet cute between Cameron and Jeanette, it is almost a massively big disaster. It is disastrous, but not, it could have been a lot worse. And the upshot of all that is they do not give each other the best first impression at all. So he's not impressed by her, she's not impressed by him, and they're definitely not impressed that they end up having to work together. So she's stressed out because she really needs to get this project as do this project as well as possible because she has a very demanding and difficult boss that she has to please. And Cameron's just really busy and having a bad day when they first meet. And he comes across as very grumpy, although he actually really isn't grumpy as we learn as the story progresses. So we have quite a few problems at the start. And the first problem that they both think they have is the fact they've got to work together. And there's a really fun rivalry in this story in terms of what happens in the way they work together. And so they can't agree on anything. So, for example, their first disagreement, they're renovating this attic suite upstairs in the B&B, and they need to build a bathroom and add that in. And Jeanette wants to have a Hollywood style bathroom, which is where the basin and vanity is outside of the main bathroom area. And he wants to have everything within the main bathroom area where the toilet and the bath and the shower and all that kind of thing is located. And they're effectively setting up as is like a honeymoon suite or a couple's escape is the way this room is being set up. And so they just can't agree on what they want to do. And so it's like, okay, well, the owner will decide, and whoever loses has to do an activity that the winner decides on. And so their first adventure becomes hiking. And there are a lot of rom-com things that happen when they have to do their little activities when they win and lose these effectively bets that they're having, although there's no money changing hands and it's not gambling. So that was really fun. And I was thinking about the whole bathroom thing. It's interesting. I've been talking with friends about if you're going to a B&B or a dorm or a shared accommodation, what do you actually expect in a bathroom? And we universally agreed that a toilet must be in a bathroom for it to be a bathroom. And a shower's helpful, but if we had to make a decision and choose anything as a baseline, it's definitely a toilet. So we all have different opinions when it comes to bathrooms, and I'm not going to tell you who won this debate, but it was a lot of fun, and you can find out by reading the story. And so Jeanette's quite stressed out, as I said earlier, because her boss is really difficult and demanding, and she needs this project to go as well as possible to try and move up the career rung and to get some career progression going as well. There's a particular carrot being dangled that she's desperate to be able to have. And so her life is in the city and she's just temporarily in the small town to get these projects done. So she's not planning to stay there at all. She's effectively on holidays. And so Cameron, he's really carrying the workload of the business. And with his dad and what's going on with his family, he's feeling quite stressed out and quite pressured for a large part of the story as well. And I absolutely love this story. It's just so fun. And the rom-com, there were some really laugh out loud funny moments. And the romance is just really sweet and cute with these two characters. And the quirky side characters were just hilarious. There are so many funny things that happen connected to these side characters, and particularly these seniors that do their private investigating. They're an absolute hoot, these characters. And I loved how our main characters had a common interest in health and fitness, and that became quite important in some of the shared activities they do together as well. And I loved how we've got a charming small town with close families, and our main characters were very connected to their families as well and wanting to help their extended family, etc., etc. And the small town hijinks, it was just hilarious. And at the same time, this lovely small town of people, they just, if something goes wrong, they're all in trying to help people as well. And I love that community spirit that's alive and well in this town. And the seniors with their mysteries, there was a little bit of a mystery in the story that was super fun as well, and I enjoyed that. And I just love the ending. It was very satisfying how everything played out, and watching Cameron and Jeanette get their happily ever after. It was just really fun. So my favorite book quote in the story is this one. But there was something about thumbing through the pages of God's word that settled the upheaval inside of him. And so this is Cameron who's thinking this, and I really loved how the characters live out their faith in the story. And so when something goes wrong, they are praying, they're opening the Bible and seeking wisdom out of God's word and trying to work things out that way. That was something I really valued in the story. And it's pretty much a trademark of all the books I've read by Penny Zeller. Have those very strong and organic faith elements in the story. And so this one looks at trust issues and pride issues and also the importance of seeking God's will when things go wrong. And there are definitely things that go wrong in this story that the characters are seeking wisdom on. So, in terms of the impact on me, there were lots of smiles because there were some really laugh out loud funny moments. And as I said, I loved how when disaster strikes, the characters really sort of thought, okay, I'm a resourceful person. What can I actually do to try and make this situation better? And really praying to God to see if God had a better path for them compared to the path that they thought they were supposed to be on. I really appreciated that in the story. So, in summary, I would recommend Blueprint for Love to readers who like fun rom-coms that have a few cozy mystery vibes in the story, to readers who like friends to more romances and characters from different worlds with your city versus small town, to readers who like characters who are working together, so you've got the forced proximity and also the rivals at work, and to readers who like adorable animals. I mean, there's a scene with one of the animals at a fashion parade that is just hilarious. It's so good. I'm not going to say any more because I'm not giving away spoilers. And I also recommend this book to readers who like charming small towns with quirky side characters and quirky animals, and also strong faith elements that are very organic to the story and include looking at pride issues and trust issues. Thanks for joining me today. Does Blueprint for Love sound like a book that you'd like to read? Have you read it? What did you think? You can let me know. If you're listening on the podcast, you can send me a text via a link in the show notes. If you're watching at YouTube, you can like the episode at YouTube and leave a comment at YouTube. You can also email me at my website where I have a contact form, and you can find that at narelleatkins.com. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, and you can do that at your favorite podcasting app, or you can subscribe at YouTube, and then you'll get a notification on when my next episode drops. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please share the link with a friend, especially a friend who you think will enjoy reading Penny's books and a friend who enjoys reading contemporary romances and rom-coms. So thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.